Oh, are we live? It's been so long, I forgot how to do this. Oh, looks like we are. Sweet. Across all the channels? YouTube as well? Yeah. Trying out this new Streamlabs. It's pretty cool so far. I like it. Alright, so every time I get off the bus in the morning, I walk past this. And I thought it would be interesting to do it. Kind of break down the shapes. Try to get some of that micro detail in there. It's cast iron and it's outside year round. So let's see what we can do. So let's rotate this. And then it's symmetrical in these panels, so I only took reference of one of these. Right, so high-res plane probably. Something like that, maybe. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to put some circle in the middle to kind of cut this out. I think I'm going to build my alpha. It's just like a histogram scan of my height. So that way I can kind of cut it out in here. So we'll start in the middle and work our way out. This is going to be hard. Okay, so let's do shape paraboloid because I can control my edge. Just do histogram scan. So the reason I use a paraboloid instead of like a disc is this edge versus this edge. And I can put it almost to the top, and then I get that anti-aliasing in there. A little bit nicer. Right. So that would need to be subtracted out. I'm just kind of looking at the scale, see whether or not that feels right. I think it does. Actually, what I'm going to do is do 100% scale and then use my histogram scan to take slices of it. So up that till we get. Okay. So then, what this will allow me to do. This, subtract that. Ooh. I'm going to do a tile. Just to get my 4x4, or rather 2x2. in there. All right. So the first thing we need to subtract is center here. So we'll take that out, and then next line is going to go from there. So we'll just use this. Okay, so that's cut out. And then we need to make one of these and cut that out. So this will be a higher position. So now what we're doing is getting this, then to this. Just kind of checking the scale of this. It's procedural, so we can adjust it however we want later. And then we need to do this setup again. So, position. It's a similar distance as this. So, just looking at the thickness of these two gaps. And then looking at this again, the percentage of this to the end is way too large the way that it currently is, so we gotta fix that. Something more like that. I think it's actually even a little bit smaller. Looks pretty good. Okay, so then we have space, gap, support. That distance is not correct, so we'll fix that. These are about equal. So hole, 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 and then there's another ring here. But this ring looks mostly mostly made up of these circles. So then this is going to be gap. This whole piece will fill it back in. And then we have space, space, and then outer edge. And I didn't know what to call this Dream's tree apron. I don't know what this tree grate. I don't know. So then do this again. Yep. So it's a little bit closer than the last one. Something like that. And then it's kind of this massive dragon. This giant gap on here. So I'm kind of looking at where it intersects along this line. Looks like it's about 75%. So like the 25% mark to the 75% mark. And then this one intersects basically with the edge. So it's about where we want. And we need to subtract out this piece. So just duplicate this. And it like almost touches. This one's weird though. So it's like that. And then it's kind of weird in the corner. It's this shape. So I need to then take my squares and subtract them out to get this border. So we'll duplicate this, blend, subtract, and change my scale. So, ooh, maybe edge detect is a better. Let's see. So that's kind of insetting it. So then if I subtract this, haha. So that's, it's giving me the edges. So got these, but when I go to the next node, this is cutting it out. So I need to constrain to the main interior square, which is where this would come in, I think. There we go. Okay, and then this one's going to do the same thing, so it's going to need the same mask. But this needs to be in add mode instead, or max mode. And this, change the scale. Okay. Actually, no, it's inverted. Correct, incorrect. Okay, so instead of doing the giant gap, let's do the inside. Something like that. Hook our mask in. Then we can do this the same way. And instead do the actual border. So that's touching. And then I'm looking at the thickness of this against the outer edge. Which also says that my edge detect might need to be a little larger. Let's do 5. I don't like that kind of weird border, but that'll be okay. So let's take a look at a reference again. So we have thick piece, small gap. This piece isn't thick enough anymore. Really should just install Quadro. Feels like it's jumping so much. Save. Okay, so we need a opacity output. So alpha. There we go. Cut it out. Okay. Pipe this into our height. Get a little bit of shape. Some mixed feelings about the edge, though. I should use this. There you go. Now we don't have that weird overflow. Falling in. Thickness is more balanced. Shrink this. There we go. Now let's save it. Okay, let's look at a reference again. This is overwhelming. Okay, let's break it down a bit. So we have rings and rings and rings. So these rings here are all basically edge to edge to edge. And then there's part of one behind it, but it doesn't go all the way around. So like the, I guess it would probably be 2/3 of the way up. It kind of ends on this other ring. Let's see. So I think I'm going to use a curve to kind of create this edge crease edge, and then we'll use a splatter circular to see if we can get these small rings edge to edge kind of filling. It's like half between here and here, here. Goes to about the halfway point, and kind of the inside of the ring intersects with like the top of that edge. Let's see if we can do that. So use a curve. Let's use this parabola that we already have. And then I'm going to be doing some. Whoa, what? Okay. Okay, so I'll start putting in some values so we can actually control it a bit. Then this one, if centered, if this little groove is in the middle, then it would need to be 0.4. So let's put this in the middle. Is in the middle. 4.8, and that's 0.02. So this will be 0.52. So now we have this groove in there, and then we can give our edges a little bit more shape by pulling these out. So I'm going to go to 0.38 and 0.62. So now we have a little bit of shape on these edges. And then splatter circular. Put image. And then so we can check it, let's do some counting. It's centered 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3. This would probably be 4. So that means there, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one would be 5. So it's like 3.5 times 4. Like, logically, okay, that's the right number, but I think I then have to rotate the ring. So these are all kind of intersecting this bottom area. And then I'm going to do the scale of, or size of 1, so that I can just adjust the scale. And they're just touching. So then I need to rotate the ring so that these are all split over the center. Ring rotation. 16.5. No, it's probably 15 degrees because math. Because it's 3 to get it to the half. So then disconnect the background, blend, use the same mask, lighten. So that looks like it's going about halfway. It might need to be a little bit larger and then this ring pushed out a little bit more, but procedural. So we'll get some more reference points in there. The ring thickness looks okay. These look about the same thickness. So that would be a little bit tricky. We'll need to have a new curve where we figure out the width based on the scale difference. So then we'll have another one. And then this falls into the same, I should pull the reference over for you. So this kind of falls into the same setup with these. So we'll do the ones that are touching the edge first. So that's where the ring rotation is going to be 0. And radius. And scale. I'm looking at the spacing of this edge here and what's in the reference. I think it's about right. So scale 175 versus 1.2. So I'll need to take these. Bring them in a bit. Four, 3, 5, 8. Be 5, 7. So if you take a peek at a reference, then these go all the way through, which we can see that our size is incorrect, or our radius is incorrect, or both. So let's undo that. Radius, something more like that. And then I would need to change my scale, or leave it and do this change and shrink them more. 4, 4. So this way. So that should be correct. Right? 4, 8, 4, 4, 5, 2, 5, 6. These are 4 off. These are 4 off. Okay. Make sure that these are barely touching. Thickness is a little off. We'll again get more reference points in there. See where we end up. So now we have ring, 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 these, and these. So then we have these ones that sit behind. So this set and this set. So what we could do is blend these in lighten mode, unplug background, and then plug this in, and now we have both. And then do a 2D and rotate this back. Yeah. So, well, we need to rotate this and go into the matrix, do an empty function, float, number of turns. That I want to get. I just want to do a regular float. Then do rotation matrix. So now let's let us rotate it. Whee! So then if we go over here, and it was 16, so we need to do another, or it was 15, we do another 15. So to get those number of turns, 360, 15. Way around. 0, 4, 1. Yep. So then blend that. And line up. We can change our opacity, and then it pushes it backward. Now let's take a look at the reference and see this area here is more complex in ours than what's in the reference. And that's because this ring that's behind doesn't continue on. Doesn't continue around behind here. But this one does. How to do that? Look at this groove. Okay, get distracted. So I'm wondering if keeping these as parabolas would be the better way to do it. So if I take this, the answer is no. The answer is maybe. The answer is it's okay. Interesting. Okay. So I don't want to do that. So then it gets weird. So these overlap. And then we get this. Perfect. But then I want to take these to a histogram scan. Put the position pretty high because we need to subtract this out, I think. Let's take a look at our reference. Okay, so this ring comes over. It looks like it continues into the edge of this ring. Right, so this goes around, doesn't continue. Actually turns into like an inversion. So we need to histogram scan this. Maybe I don't want to blend these yet. Oh, it doesn't matter. So do you blend the inner ones? Rotate it. Rotate just the inner ones. Okay, and then blend it, where I subtract this out. That's the opposite. Talk through this. Talk it out. So these are our over. Oh, snaps. Oh, my new streaming setup. Gotta give the shout outs. Hey, Jay. Follow me on Twitch. Awesome. Thanks for the follow. Hi. So the big ones, these ones. Oh no, it'd be a multiply, not subtract. If it's the opposite, just invert the action. But I need the rotated version of that. Is that correct? Doesn't look correct. Should be ending in this. Oh, it's because I'm using a curve. So I need to adjust my histogram scan. So this. Figuring out the best way to manage these might be a bevel after the fact. I don't know. So it looks like I need to get rid of that. if I treat it like a signed distance field, then oh, that won't work. Let's be the opposite of this. Yep. Okay. So I'll keep my ring, do a new curve so that I can capture the interior edge. So instead of this histogram scan, organize this a bit. All right. So now we have these rings wrapping around the way that they should. Let's close that. So it goes around, ends on that edge. Yep. So it goes boop, boop, and then we'd have a piece going in between down here. Cool. Okay, so we got those rip, 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 and then we need the big ring in the back. This one, which okay, so the big ring goes all the way around here, and then it kind of touches here, and then disappears for a sec. It kind of comes back around. So it doesn't exist in this interior one. Whew. Okay. So I need to 2D transform this. The most simple things, and somebody made this. The what? Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah, man, somebody came up with this design, made a mold, all that. Crazy. Just reducing the groove. It's not necessary. Okay, so back to our reference. This distance is incorrect with our current proportions. So I think we just need to take all of this, change the radius and scale. So that's closer. And then scale. Whoop. And then this one, radius. Looks about right. Then scale. Barely touching. And then this one. Nope, this one. That feels correct. I think this is in between. And then like that. All right, so we got these rings. Now we need trees. So first I want to do these main ones. So there's 2. So it's using a similar splatter circular setup. And if I want to use the same curve, then I would need to do gradation. And then this doesn't need to be connected. These technically don't either, because I can just use a paraboloid. Clean it up a bit. Lighten, just histogram scan this to get the shape. So it's a bit weird because some of these end here. So really there's only this main one that goes all the way. But, so we have the main one that goes all the way, and then we have these side ones. I'm trying to think if there's like a nice way to do this kind of masking to just cut this bit out. I don't know if there is. You can just do 2 splatter circulars. This isn't running in real time, so I don't have to worry about graph time as much. So these just hit the first one, and then scale this up, up. And there, oh, this is another one of those ring rotation things, I think. Got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 20. Let's do some ring rotation. Shrink a shrink. It's close-ish to what's in the reference. So we got this space that's different in the reference. Not by a lot, but these are going in the right location. Going across here, so in between, down the middle, in between, so in between, in between, in between. Perfect. Let's use this trusty mask. Need to use this trusty mask here too. So that looks good. And then actually, I can just do this. Blend these two. And then we're only going to have 4 of these. And ring rotation is going to be like 45. Or 0, because that's the default. And our X is going to be a little bit larger. 0.75. And then Y. And lighten. So now we have these that are going through, creating these gaps. I bet if let me try lowering my interstice here. This 0, 1, 0, 1. Seeing if I can get a little bit more back there. That's closer. I'm going to minimize this even more. I just need enough that at this 0.05, at this resolution, the edge of text still sees it. And then I can change my scale here. These don't matter. Okay. And then gotta extend the length of that. Can I change my radius instead? Yeah! Yay! Okay. So some of the line thickness scaling is off now, but hey, thanks. And actually it goes all the way to the corner. Always check your reference. So this goes from here all the way to the corner. So this can actually be longer. Keep saving. Looking. Oh, thanks. So the tree bits, they're a little bit hard to figure out what's going on. So there's like this 3 tine. So if I look at what's happening here and here, it looks the same. And then it's offset again. But then there's this that's asymmetrical that meets up with this one, and yeah. So let's do the, because it's not continuing the circle. Okay, so we'll do this outer ring set and then these final rings in the corner. So it's trusty splatter circular and trusty curve profile. Lighten radius. So these ones sit, they intersect about halfway. This outermost ring. So we're running into tiling being a thing. Where if I increase my radius, you can see them like starting to show up on the other side. I don't want that. This is tiling internally, so I'm going to turn off tiling. Absolute, no tiling. So then I can just put my radius where it needs to be and these get cut off. As long as I mask it. And so let's do this like over under thing here a little bit. Ring, ring, ring. These are all doing the same, like. Okay, I think you need to rotate this to get it to line up the way that it's supposed to. Ring rotation. 0. So now I can actually see it's hitting. I'll do another one. Let's duplicate both of these so I can anchor my corner and figure that out. And mask. So there's only 4 of these. And then it's like that. It looks like it's the same radius. This size and this size. These might be a little bit smaller. And then just farther out. Some of these, most of them get cut out with this inner mask. So that's this one. Do a transformation again. Blend these. And use this. I get something totally not what I was expecting. Oh, because it's cut out. So I need to do this. Shuffle these. Shuffle that. Put that in there. Tiling. This is not tiling. Move these a little bit. Give some more room. So I turn tiling off here, which means tiling is off here, which means it goes into this 2D transform, and tiling is off. And now so when it's rotating, it's getting all weird. So I actually need another one. There. Set up here where my ring rotation. They're overlapping by about the correct amount. No. Not even close. So, to get the correct overlap as well as retain these kind of ratios, we gotta change this. I have to make sure that my corner stays correct. So I'm looking at this area here, which means that my data here is incorrect. So either my scale is incorrect, and I need to have a much larger scale. And that's probably what it is. Just looking at this. Because all these design elements have had that kind of touching edge. So I should probably retain that. So change my scale and then radius. Okay. Why redo it when I can just duplicate and then reshift? That looks more correct. In a way. It's hard. You look, you see something, like, oh yeah, I should totally make a texture to that. Let's start counting the elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe the issue is that there are too few these elements. Seven and a half. I must be tired. Let's do the same thing that I did earlier that I realized didn't work. Twenty-two and a half. It's always going to be a 0.5, so it's that. But they don't overlap into the circle. They end It's the easiest way to do that. So I need to limit this one to that area. So where it just runs into here. Two masks? It's like a bad idea. So that limits it. But then I need the other one still. Link parameters via expression. Yes. If you mean link parameters as in have one parameter change multiple things, yes. So like for example, this pattern amount on these two, I could expose this and then get it here. And then this rotation here, I could do a function for that. So if I go in here, to float. That should be the same path though. Did I crash it? Shouldn't. My 2D view stopped updating. My mouse is just dying. Oh, I bet this is one of those. Some of the functions, the topmost thing isn't the root. So the way that it works in an FX map, which most of these are based on, is if you're going to have math happening in one of these function graphs, the thing that you're targeting has to be solved for before it gets to it. and pattern amount and the rotation might have a weird relationship where something else here is actually the first item. So let's try just sticking it in rotation. Unless I just spelled things incorrectly. Pattern amount. Or I just solved it for the same thing. But yes, I think if I answered your question, I don't understand why this is being weird. You guys just saw me do the math. Got 360 divided by 24 times 0.5, 7.5. And there's 24. So if I do get integer, pattern amount to float because we need the decimal point, division, we're doing 360 degrees. Oh. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, so it's number of turns. The ring rotation is a number of turns, not in degrees. So number of turns 1 divided by 24. Multiply by 0.5. There we go. So if I take this, set ring rotation. So for optimization, Substance Designer goes through decision trees to know what it needs to calculate. So if you don't have a sequence node or if node or something like that that makes it calculate this, it will skip it. So the sequence node says you need to calculate this part and this part. And then the pattern amount is the bottom. It's the last thing. So this is what's going to go into your current parameter, which is pattern amount. Now, if I go back to ring rotation and just do a get float ring underscore rotation, set this as my output. The rotation didn't change. Yay! That's what we want. So now, if I change my pattern amount, these will stay offset. What? The square root of 2 pi radians? the square root of 360 degrees. It's a decimal. I can tell you that. All right. Nerding out. Okay, so that's actually a useful link to have. I could do the same thing here. But it's just divided by half. Like I could link all these, but because I'm following reference, it's not something that I'm going to change. Something I could set up like in the future if I wanted to be able to change the pattern. Go outside. Okay, so I need to get these back, but not in any of these. So I need a similar histogram scan. And yeah! This graph is already getting ridiculous. And this is just the height map. Chat's getting out of hand. All right. Trees. Do I want to get into trees or do I want to play God of War? It's a tough decision. I can just do a bunch of random stuff in here and nobody would know. These like grip rivet things are a bit weird. They almost seem to be placed randomly. Like, why is it missing here? It goes Rio. And then it doesn't match here. Do I adhere to the reference or do I do it the way that I would want to do it? I think I want to do it the way that I would want to do it. So I push this back. I'm going to get my histogram scan. so that my alpha is correct. So push it back so I can add these to it. So yeah, it's weird. So it's capping out, which is okay because that's kind of the style, but it's not what I want. So switch this to 32 bits, and then right before we use it, to auto levels, and switch it back to 16. So you can see it's not capping out anymore. So it adds it, and it kind of looks like it's bottoming out or topping out. But it's not. But it is flat. So flatten them down. They're a little bit smaller. Try to center them in there. There's a lot though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I want to skip these. Where this trusty mask comes in. Shink. And then there are some in here, but just handfuls. Blech. So let's do my splatter rectangular. I want a paraboloid. So I'm going to tile this using this. So I'm going to blend all of these kind of rivets, nubbins, whatever you want to call them. So the scale of this was 0.01, so I need to go 2 times larger than that because it's getting tiled twice. So those look the same size. And then change my it's weird. So it doesn't seem like it's adding them. Right? What is this? Oh, ha, because of the mask. So I can't add them all together. Which is fine. Kind of. I just have to do it that way. I mask it out before and then add it in. Okay, there we go. Showing up. And push these out to the edge. Kind of cut those out and those out. Kind of don't like those. So we'll use that middle ring from way over here. To subtract. Here we go. Half of 1/5 is 7/5. So the tessellation is helping me evaluate the disparity in here between these, because I'm auto levels. What's the difference in height? Because the AO is a little bit deceptive. How far that's spreading. So reduce that. Turn it off. Okay, I guess that's pretty much all or nothing. Whew. Okay. I like where this is headed. I like where it's at currently, but I think that's it for this evening. I wonder if I like splatter circular with random for these. It almost feels that way. Like this part's super quippy, and then this is not. So we have 6, and then because this is 1 away from the edge, and then this is 1 away from the edge. Placement of this is different. I don't know. Think about it. Think about it while I dream. I'm still sorting out my schedule. This is my first stream of my new computer rig and my new place. But I'd like to do this often again. So I need to update my schedule. If you want to get notifications, give me a follow. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.